everybody, guess what?
Yeah.
Just when you thought a little flip.
This is what they used to lie to. Like, what happened to that old school music when they was telling us some shit that was not true? And then we could just ride with it. And then get mad about the lies or whatever.
Just because we're sticking to Monday being the funky shit, right?
I dig it. Something that you can move. I'm gonna even change. I'll dial back on something you can shake your ass. So there's something you can move your body. Wow. Tired of you know, fire, all that other shit. And I'm tired of you motherfuckers just being sad and he hurt me and I was sad and she broke my heart. Oh man, I cried, now I do cocaine, whatever.
Cocaine.
I get drunk and like, you know.
I don't think people remember that. Do you remember that?
What?
Cocaine.
I remember that phrase.
The rock and roll clown, baby.
I remember that phrase, but I realized I was talking to my sister earlier, like that there's just such a collection of shit up here, and I don't even remember where half the shit comes from. Like I can say it on cue and it'll make sense for the moment, but if you like, where did that come from? I'm like, it's like right about now.
Don't feel bad.
58% chance I remember what the fuck the phrase is. I know that it fits. I know the tone. I know the voice who said it. Who said it? I don't know. I don't remember.
It's from the fuck. I want to say it's like Megadeth or whatever the little cartoon rock and roll shit was when it was on Adult Swim.
Yeah,
they had
that was a fucking thing.
The rock and roll clown that was just coked out of his mind on a regular basis, sniffing mountains.
Well, there's that. Like I think for the past like 2 weeks, I've been just in passing being like 22s, man, boobs, touch it all night, baby. Ooh. And I was like, where the fuck did that come from? And I just randomly I was like, it literally, I've been saying this shit like just driving around for 2 solid weeks. And then I was like, oh shit, Big Black. I don't know. It took, and I was like, there's a lot of shit up here because it shouldn't take 2 weeks for me to remember. Oh yeah, Chunky Boys.
Rest in peace to Big Black.
Dude.
Smelly.
Like he was like, that was a star.
He was. Just being himself and enjoying life and having fun. And he did his thing until his passing, even though Bernice Burgos stole his logo, but it's okay. We're not going to talk about that. Man. Nobody brings that up. Like, oh, she got a nice custom chip. Nope, she stole that logo from Big. She didn't even. It don't even like she changed it at all. She just stole it and said, "This is for me now."
Double B's. I was sincerely looking forward to him just becoming like some type of cult classic, gigantic megastar.
That would have been fantastic.
Because he was like on his way. Like after a while, I was like, I'm watching this show 100% for Big. No diss to Rob, but it just was like,
not at all.
Fucks with Big, dog. Like. Then he became like a dad. It was a whole fucking transition. Big.
It definitely. That's the love that we all need to have. We should have gotten from Big Black, and in his passing, even Rob was just like faded from obscurity a little bit. Like he kind of does ridiculousness, but nothing to the extent that he did before. He's a whole lot more calm.
Nah, he kind of does now. I assume. I don't follow Rob Dyrdek, but I assume he does like. He won. Like I have enough things to kind of maneuver obscurely and get bread because I just feel like people still think motherfuckers are like, you know, just get out of the spotlight and somehow lose, which is fucking crazy. Like I just fucking sidebar. I saw this fucking it was one of those. I think it was the Earn Your Leisure dudes because they just you look at them and be like, I could start a motherfucking thumbtack company. And whatever. It was a dude, and he was talking about like how he started his trucking company, and he was like, I started out with 1 truck, and now I got 6, and he was just explaining just those numbers. And then I saw something about I was watching like I Am Athlete. There's I Am Athlete LA now. Shout out to them niggas. And they were just discussing money and the money for the athletes and money for like dudes out of school. And it's like shit, man. If you get these big lump sums of like football money, even if you only had like the fucking lauded 3 to 5 year gap, if you just skip one or two chains, just maybe like like just skip one or two of those. And shout out to Nick Young for that funny ass bar and tuck away 5 or 6 pairs of Amiri jeans. Just don't buy those for a little bit. And then like that dude was like, I got 6 trucks and started a company and I'm really set. Y'all could buy 12. You niggas could easily in the first couple years buy like 12 trucks and start 2 other businesses on the side. You could blow both knees out and you'll be perfectly fine. You could literally go out the next day, next game, and a nigga destroyed both fucking legs. Like you out there just like, he quit soldier. And like your life is still straight. Like, I don't know, man. Do it. Because don't fuck around and give me a couple million. Now y'all gonna see me wearing the same raggedy clothes. And I'm gonna somehow, he walks like he's rich because he fucking is.
It don't even have to be a couple million. In my affirmation book, and which I wrote, I think for this set of things, I wrote.
Man, I just be saying shit from memory.
Yeah, and I need to get better on that. I'm gonna come back to that in a minute, actually. But I think for this set of affirmations or things that I wanted to manifest, I think I wrote it in 2019, 18. For me, it's like I'm pinnacle. I'm cool with 100,000 a year. Like I'm cool with that. To have, especially if I have 10,000 after everything is paid for, I just have 5-10,000 that's just there that I can kind of bullshit around with. Oh,
yeah,
I'm cool with that. Even if that's just like I have an extra 10,000 a year to play around with. Everything else is paid for, all expenses are handled, and I'm left at the end of the year with an extra 10,000 to do whatever the fuck I want with. That's more than fine. So millions, I'm definitely like.
Do you think we get too caught up in that, like as just a culture? Because like motherfuckers really will like what you just said. Niggas are out here living off of, motherfuckers was losing their minds off $600 stimulus checks, not paying attention that you know how to move. This seems like this is definitely a struggle, but you know how to make it maneuver with this, and not paying attention that niggas got to get to the bag. But it's like this over here would allot you, like you just said, fuck it, I'll give you niggas a high 6 figures. I'll give you 200,000 to 300,000. Like you niggas don't have to max out that 200,000 to 300,000. Like if you were making a consistent 200,000 to 300,000, you could live a lovely, not even you could live a really lit life and have your shit on the side. And it's niggas who are getting millions and just seem to still be in this consistent rat race. And I'm like, well, shit, what's the fucking point of having all these millions? And you end up being fucking just these weirdly unhappy, rich as fuck, but I'm just bag. And I get anxious sometimes, and this is really an old nigga statement I'm finna say. Like besides just bang, bang, shoot them motherfuckers, like you start hearing like, get to the bag, chases, get to the bag, chases. After a couple listens to some music, I'm like, I'm fucking anxious, man. Did I work enough today? Like, right. I went to work, shit, and we sitting at home like, fuck, I got 8 hours of sleep. I fucked up. Like, no, nigga, like you did a good thing today. You were perfectly fine. Like, because I've noticed that they'd be like, damn, nigga, what the fuck are you so tired? You went to sleep. But shit, half of your sleeping was thinking for 2 or 3 hours about this, and this. It's like, no, you did enough. You don't be lazy and don't be fucking overzealous. There's a balance. Favorite fucking line around this bitch. Like, balance.
Balance is way underrated, especially in our society, because we forget the importance of it. Kind of like we forget to do the intros at the beginning of the show. Hi, everybody. Welcome to Just a Dope Ass Podcast. Get that out the way. In case you see things look different, we have
y'all see the names under and
you
shit.
see the names at the bottom. TJ's on location, and I am in the studio.
I'm in my second favorite. Like, honestly, man, I love home, but like Houston, I mean, I really like this place, man. I don't know what Will Smith doing. Maybe that comes with a certain level of money because Will Smith talked about his peaceful place is Miami. I can't relate, but like I fuck with here. Like heat, big ass 6 foot bugs. I don't care. I'm chilling.
You had it right the first time. It's heat, big ass, and food.
Yeah.
And gyms. Like people in Texas actually like they lifting to get beefy. So like between gym culture, food culture, and thick culture, like you are immersed. You are thoroughly immersed, sir.
Oh yeah, and I mean, people talk about vibes. I'm into like simple shit makes me happy. Like I just like going around and seeing like happy little head nods and shit. Like even when I'm at home, like I fully have like a couple of like I have the Choose membership in the 24. I could easily go to a bunch. I actively take my ass to the 24 on Sauce just so I can see. That one one Hawthorne. I just like seeing us like in mass. I don't talk. A little head nod. I'm like, ah, this is cool. So I definitely like that out here because here motherfuckers really say hello. So
Right.
it's a whole different vibe.
That Southern hospitality. But that's essentially that's you kind of searching for the balance that you don't get on a regular basis to kind of tie it back in. Like you being able to have a certain mindset that I need a balance of this. I get an abundance of this. I don't need this much. Let me get rid of it and implement something that I don't get a lot of, which is some genuine fucking niceness and positivity and just smiling faces. Let me go find that. But that goes back to me saying like balance is highly underrated. We don't appreciate it. I think that's kind of the post like I posted today. Basically it was essentially saying like you're not lazy, you're not whatever negative concepts come to mind. You're simply just you're tired. You're tired. You're basically tired. You ran through the floor because you've been through so much. And I was posting that really just to point out how we overconsume. Mental health is at a high. Physical health struggles are at a high. Emotional health, financial well-being struggles are at like all these different struggles are at an all-time high. Where's the balance? Do we understand what balance is? But we're so over when it comes to overconsumption or things of that nature. We don't know what it's like to balance these things out, and we run ourselves so thin. Then what happens?
Fucking burnout shit.
Exactly.
I don't even think sometimes people recognize like, because I feel like we've, at least in personal conversations, we've got a stigma for being just the fucking like shit on everything people.
Right.
Um, but it is the thing of like you do realize it's like damn you want there's a page we follow and I see a lot of this shit. It's like stillness, awareness, peace, meditations, all that same shit.
Uh,
But it's like it just I think about it like when I watch I saw the holistic psychologist woman. She talks a lot about, we all talk about mental health, but we don't, a lot of times I don't think we all pay attention to like how things affect like our nervous systems. And like
right.
you said, if we're consistently running around, if I'm going to work, zoom, 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 because I want to be a good employee, I want to be a good enough employee, make some money, blah, 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 blah. Then zoom, 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 zoom for everybody wants to start a business. Even this, as much as this is fun, this is kind of fun work. Like this is the easy part, the conversation, but the behind the scenes people shit don't see. We want to make content. We want to post on social media, which is this weird balance between I have fun with this, but I know we have to start generating numbers, blah, blah, blah. If you have relationships or children or people who might rely on your time and space, whatever, it's like you really aren't sitting down because it's like, man, I got to go hang out with you. You got to go see your boyfriend or your girlfriend or your fucking mom or whatever, whatever. And you have to be present in these spaces. You have to give these people time and attention. And I don't think people often pay attention to like, you didn't ever really you didn't hit pause all day. You got up at 5 to go whatever, and you've been on go until you go to bed. And
Right.
it's like, and even you go to bed, and if you don't hit REM sleep, this shit is until you might get 4 or 5 hours where you really knocked out. You working on fumes at best.
Burning the candle at both ends, as Cassandra Elaine would tell me growing up. Like you can't burn the candle at both ends. You have to be able to balance that stuff out. But we're so I can't even say we're enamored with it, but we are so conditioned to think that we have to spend every waking moment obligated to doing something to get us more material. Essentially, that's what it all boils down to. More material, something to have, something to possess. I have to work harder to gain more things to have in my possession, whether it's other people, whether it's more situations, whether it's more money, whether it's businesses, whether it's actual things, whether it's whatever. Spend more time to get more time. Like we're trying to possess so many different things that we think we have to utilize this precious thing that we can't get back in order to get more stuff that is easily dismissible. We don't
Yeah.
realize, like, I don't need all this shit. Like, I don't need all the food that I eat. I don't need all the clothes that I have. Like, I don't need a lot of this shit that I have. All I need is a bare minimum. So that kind of goes back to what I said as far as 100,000. 100,000 is a lot.
Yeah.
When you've lived on a little bit of money and you understand how to make it go, oh, I don't need a million. I would like a million, but that's just more money I have to give away to do more positive things. I don't need all that for myself, though.
Yeah, like it's a bit of overstimulation because like even the outside culture, like shit. If y'all aren't in the DMs, but as much as the DMs are geek shit, current events, the DMs is also like these look like cool events, but it's shit that just this is dope. This is something dope to do in due time. But even chasing, it's like a sense of chasing the fun. It's not fun. It's like gotta do this, gotta make sure we're having drinks, gotta make sure we're dancing, gotta make shit. This is work now. We are chasing. I didn't have enough good times at work. I'm chasing it. This is now a job. It's not this like I remember how no, I don't give a shit what you kids are doing now. You niggas did not turn up as much as people who were like adulting between like '07 and say the early 2000s. You niggas was not, and I'm not dissing you children, but like the only people beating us was like the '80s and the when cocaine and heroin was it. But that was like, it was like, I didn't know nobody, we were all coming into our adulthood, but it was just like freedom. I'm going to go out because I'm just out, but I'm not going out to counteract the fact that I've been doing so much busy that I need to go out in order to, make it seem like it's balanced. And I'm working for like a high. It's almost like that Will Smith posted. I don't even know which one of us posted that, but getting like high on pleasure, like to be an adult, to be really whatever, like peace is what you really want. And understanding the difference between peace and just the overstimulation of pleasure. Cause it's like drugs. If we're looking at like how shit fires off in the brain, you can tell my black ass is doing homework today. Like, the same drugs release in your brain. And it's like, you're doing too much. The faucet is on. You cut it off. Like you need to learn how to live when it's this peace, this silence, this nothing. There's a lot of good shit in nothing.
Right. I think people are afraid of nothing because they're afraid of what their truth is that's going on in their mind.
True.
So they find all this other shit to occupy my attention with. I mean, I deal with that a lot with clients in therapy, especially when it comes to grief and loss. You know, I don't want to sit quietly because when I sit quietly, that's when I start thinking about my reality. And I don't want to deal with my reality. I want to deal with something else. So it's hard to our detriment and we don't even recognize it, but that's part of the imbalance to the point to where we don't even recognize ourselves, let alone how much over in all these other categories we are. Shout out to D. She said in the comments, very true, there's no balance.
Oh shit.
We wrestling like you can see them too, just to kind of let you know.
I just forgot I was in private chat. Like you can now. I didn't. There's a whole private chat. I know we could talk about y'all. Apparently, y'all don't even know. I fucking learned something right now. Like,
Oh, that's funny. But yeah, so we prioritize basically powering through and overcoming. Um, most of us are slow sleep deprived. Like we don't even realize how sleep deprived we are, which is true. Which coming to that, when it comes to like say mental health, like people don't realize nutritionally and sleep wise how that it helps promote a healthier thought process.
yeah.
With our world being so sleep deprived and so behind on nutrients, like we're nutrient deficient and we're sleep deprived, would that explain why so much of our society is in complete disarray? Why we have these black and whites, like one extreme to the next, but there is no peace, there's no middle ground, there's no calm, there's no balance.
Definitely, like depending on what people are doing, I think it helps or it's a factor because I know me personally, it's a factor for me. Like there are times where somebody might say like I'll just notice like if I'm taking inventory of I've been trying to be like I try to be good at like taking inventory about whatever the fuck I'm doing. I'll notice even like I'm not as with it on like say even something as simple as social media because like this shit is burnt. Like I don't have it. Like somebody might be saying something and I really like will have all of my thoughts I exhausted maybe like now. Like if I'm having a terribly busy week, I know I have to like focus in and come in on say, a fucking Monday. and like blast through. And like, okay, I got to show up for the show. I got to show up for clients. I got to go see them. You're anxious. You're whatever. We got to go get you whatever the fuck you need right now. And I'm like, I got to show up for you. And it's like, when I'm done, I'm like, oh shit, you had a bad day. Let's talk to you, friend, or let's talk to you, you know, spouse. Let's talk to you, kid. Like whatever people are going through, it's like, damn, you fuck around and never pay attention to. I didn't really do a fucking thing to reset for my goddamn self. And like, then you get into them conversations of, am I being selfish? But there's a positive level of selfish. Like, yeah, I'm finna explode if I don't go like, I don't want nothing. I don't want nothing. I don't want no lights. I want all this shit off. I want to go in like what was that shit in that first terrible Daredevil movie? That nigga just got in that little water thing. That shit's sexy as fuck. When I see that shit now, I'm like, oh man, you could just,
the little hyperbolic chamber type.
man, that nigga set the close that shit and sound went away.
It's just me in a chamber of quiet and darkness.
Holy fuck,
I am just here floating.
I'd be in that bitch for a month.
Just relaxing. I've seen that on so many different TV shows now. They also had that on an episode of Titans. Starfire, like she's been having hallucinations or something where she's like she's not present and she's about to use her powers and fuck some shit up. And then she'll come to and she might be in a completely different area that she's teleported to. So she got in one of those to kind of like contain her brain and kind of get herself back on track. She still end up teleporting and go somewhere else. But
you got Blackfire on there, just sidebar, her sister. Man.
Both long-legged, chocolatey individuals that look quite lovely. Shout out to Titans for that. We got a double scoop with long chocolate. We appreciate y'all.
Yeah, man. I'm not into gratuitous like, ooh, make him black, but I like seeing that shit. I like, Starfire was orange, so like honestly, we can take up all the alien space because why the fuck not? But I just like, give everybody their motherfucking just due and promote Black people and geek shit because I've already done my rants on that, but it gives us more room to do more stuff. We're bigger.
Even though they always find a way to make them fall in love with the white boy.
Yeah, I mean, this one doesn't seem forced because obviously, Nightwing and Starfire have a history. Like they fuck with each other, which I know you guys. But it proves my fucking Batman theory because motherfucking she don't fuck Superboy. He does, but even him, he goes and fucks Wonder Woman. Still better than Clark. Probably that Lex Luthor blood. But Tamaranian, she can punch buildings and shit, set shit on fire. But Dick said, I got that dick. After that dick.
But her sister on the TV show. Yeah. Her sister is fucking Superboy.
I feel like that's just some, dominant.
She was looking at him as if he was supposed to be her manservant.
Yeah.
And then she's like, oh, you have superpowers. That means you will be a strong manservant. Okay. Like, do you power drive that thing the way that you can lift up cars and throw buildings? Like, she's literally like, what's can you do that in every situation? Like, you ain't no timid nigga. Is she like, what's going on with it? So he did a little something. They had him break the bed, even though it was his first time having sex, apparently. So
of course.
Whatever. And even in that situation, like a strong picked a strong. I picked somebody that was equally yoked. I picked somebody that is of equal balance to me. I know how to figure out how to pick somebody that can balance me out by having some similar qualities that I have, but also making up in certain areas where I lack, as opposed to it being an extreme.
Y'all know the motherfucking vibes and that shit. I'm actively very okay with dying on that hill. I think of myself as like Guts with the huge sword. Yeah, fuck you guys. Go watch Berserk, man. It'll fuck your head up a little bit, but it's good shit.
It's wonderful. All of this is wonderful. This anime in general, like I said, we talked about geek shit, and just even when we're talking about this whole balance situation as a society, they have undertones in lots of different shows of like how that shit is important.
Fuck yeah.
It's necessary. everything, whether it's somebody becoming stronger, whether it's somebody like causing a disturbance within the world and you have to balance it out, whether it's somebody having a disturbance within themselves that they have to figure out how to control, like everything about anime will kind of tell you some sort of way to balance yourself out positively. But that's a societal thing. Anime is part of Japanese culture there.
Yep,
Here, what do our shows promote you?
man. Chaos and like feigned attempts at betterment, but just recycle bullshit ways to fucking like it's real surfacey. Like it's like my favorite rant, guys. It's like the kind of like this meme culture that I want to say we touched on, and I've had a couple personal conversations about Justin LeBoy or a fucking spiritual world or shit. Like you have to put what's that shit like? That's some of the ways to tell the good lies. You got to sprinkle some truth in it. It'll be them posts to be like, read that again. No, I'm not gonna read that shit again because you didn't really say shit.
Right.
Like we're absolutely ready to have this conversation. You're not saying anything that really is of substance. You're saying little things that, and it's not to even be the dude that's like make everything unfun or serious, but it's like if we're looking at this shit about how it affects like our people, like that's even how niggas are so mad critical of niggas is us, we are niggas, of relationships and shit, because it's like if you think about it from like a black, the macro of it, our relationships are what build the foundation of how we grow as a people. We're in some shit. Niggas been in shit forever. So it's like promoting this narrative that, even that know your worth shit is really fucking dangerous because know your worth, but also know that this other person has worth too. It's a balance. Know your worth has now become this thing of I am above reproach. Now we back. I don't even know if we back at square one. That should have put you two steps back because you looking at this king as somebody who has to step down to your level, step down below you in order to like, you have that kowtow. You're looking at this woman who is like a really queenly, amazing partner. You want the bitch to lick your boots. This is ego. You're not looking for respect. You're not looking for know your worth. You want to be, adore my balls. Fuck you, nigga. Say hello.
Right.
Ma'am, say hello back. He said something to you and said, what would you like to do? He's not fucking indecisive. He's, what are your interests so we can build? A nigga gotta figure out the date. This is the most fucking bare minimum required. Shut up. That's not just fucking go enjoy life.
On one end, get to know me for who I am. On the other end, tell me what we're doing. They don't. They
Because
don't. They
speaking of
don't match.
okay, speaking of some shit, man, you like fucking I don't know, going to open houses because you're really into fucking architecture and shit. If I pick the date, we going to Comic Con. Tell like fucking sprinkle me, man. Like you ain't got to tell me every fucking thing, but like, what do you like? I'm not there. Make the date. Fuck it. We're gonna go to my favorite sandwich spot because they make amazing food. Not that it's expensive. It's a great sandwich spot. They're a food truck. And from the food truck, we go to this fucking art gallery because I particular artist. None of this shit is the shit you said you like. You like fucking Italian food and going to, like I said, open houses and shit. Should have said something, nigga. So now we doing what I like to do.
Right. But it's kind of like what we talked about on Saturday as far as compatibility. You're automatically letting me know that we're not compatible because I can ask you for your to be, included in this situation. What is it that you would prefer? What would you like to do? And you like, you supposed to automatically. All right. We're not compatible in that area. That's one. You got two strikes left, God damn it. But what is it about us that makes us approach each other with our perception of them as if our perception of them is supposed to be concrete? Like because I have this image of you in my mind, you are supposed to be that.
I think I think it's a little bit of selfishness, like ego, bringing in past experiences, and just lack of understanding that, like, when you come into relationships, the favorite line is relationships are a mirror. I think, a lot of times come into relationships thinking this person is supposed to meet our expectations. I'm coming in that I want this thing. What's a really fancy play on words? Like, we all like need what we want, don't want what we need. Shout out to CeeLo. Like, yeah, we just have this really childish understanding of how relationships function, and I don't think we grow with them because that type of growth requires that you examine yourself. And you go, I am on bullshit, and I am on bullshit because of what I was taught. Now I have to deal with it's becomes these compound issues. I have to undo the way I think, but in undoing the way I think, I have to now look back and go, damn, my mama was on bullshit, and my daddy was on bullshit, and my grandpappy was on bullshit, and they were on bullshit. You can counteract that, but they were on bullshit because of the environment they came from. If you put all the things in the, it's not even a judgment of them. It's like, okay, this worked for them, and they needed to do it this way because of all these variables. I am fortunate enough to be in a better, time comparatively, um, where I can maneuver in a different way. Nobody's saying, nigga, get off that goddamn hose. It's for white folks. But with that comes a level of responsibility to balance it out. It's like, oh, I don't have these barriers they had. So now I'm responsible to like readjust how I enter relationships, because what I thought was the way was really what they were forced to log into. And it wasn't beautiful. They were kind of shackled by it. They made it look beautiful because it's what the fuck black folks do. We take our traumas and make them into fucking soul food. But I don't want high cholesterol. I'm not gonna not eat my mama mac and cheese, but I'm gonna make it I'm gonna make it work for me. So I just feel like we don't, and once again, big up the squad, but that's why mental health is important, because we don't really pay attention to how much we have to unprogram and readjust, because it's not just unlearning, you have to relearn new shit. It's
Right.
like not just that's bad. It's like, oh, hey man, let me workout fucking analogy. It's like, oh, you've been squatting terrible. It's not enough to know that you're squatting terrible. You have to now relearn how to squat. And relearning how to squat means that if you're squatting the right way, you might have been putting up a terrible 315. Now you can only do a plate because you're like, oh fuck, these are muscles you've never used. So now you got to learn how to use the bitches. Is
Right.
that tiresome? Is it? Yeah, great. And then that goes into the fucking gratitude thing from the Choi guy. I got levels to this bitch. I do this. If you tweak it, you now have gratitude that, wow, I'm doing it the right way. Because if I'd have kept putting this 315 up the way I was doing it, I'd have blew my back out and my knees would have caved in. But
Right.
now I'm doing it the right way. So am I doing less weight? Yes. But when I build up back, I'll be doing double the weight that I was doing before, because I'm fucking stronger for it. And motherfuckers start to look at it like that. Cool. If it take you 4 years to get a degree, you've been a dickhead. I like to say, you came into your own at 15. Ma'am, you're 31. We got 16 years of undoing. You might have to do 16 years of undoing. Just if you think about it that way, you might could wrap that shit up in 8, but who knows?
Right. Not even realizing that's even focusing maybe on one particular area. Because when
Mm-hmm.
you talk about conditioning and deconditioning, we don't even pay attention to how deep that goes. So even when we were talking about TV shows, things that we watched, right? Things that we internalized for blerdom, geek life, so to speak. That's something that has been conditioned us that we accept as a norm now, makes us look at a different perspective. But we also end up having that same perspective of approaching things one dimensionally or approaching things with imbalance or whatever we're struggling with in our life. That also dictates the things that we consume, from food to music to entertainment to the celebrities that we pay attention to. Our perception of them ends up being skewed because we're approaching them with the perspective that we think that they should be. So that kind of goes into like what we talked about off the air as far as the situation with Ti or the comment from Ti. So provide some context to those of you that may not have seen it. Ti was on. I always forget the name of the podcast, but it's one of the podcasts based in Atlanta that has Big Block as one of the hosts. You can look it up. But he was on the show and they asked him like, "How do you feel about people making negative comments about you doing the commercial that you did years ago?" He did a commercial for the police department many years ago that was kind of telling people like, call this hotline if you see some crime or you want to report this or you report that. And he was letting people know, like, for me, facing 10 years in jail for some guns that I bought to protect myself versus me doing this commercial to tell regular citizens that are not street people to report a crime or to, do something to contact the police to protect themselves without me having to hurt anybody, without me having to snitch in on anybody or cause any drama. I would choose that all day long. Like, I'm not that gangster. Y'all have this perception of me that I'm supposed to be big bad gangster Ti, but I'm not going to choose 10 years over choosing to do this commercial because of what you think of me. I'm secure enough within myself to understand who I am, what I've done, what I haven't done, to realize that this makes way more sense to protect me as opposed to this, which is going to protect the perception you have of me.
Yeah, I think shit. I think thought processes like that, and this is the fucking monologues of a college graduate who's in grad school who ain't never touched a brick. But here we go. Um, but if you're thinking about this, you are a thinking man. Like you niggas are thinking on a businessman level. You're thinking on a survival level. Your niggas' minds are working on a variety of shit to really get it done in the streets. So if we're looking at it just beyond perception, you have to be a little bigger than pride. And I think that's one thing where we might fail, besides just flat out racism and like fucking thinking that these other groups are way better. But when we look at like the mafia and these and the thirds, a lot of them big motherfuckers with stitches, but a lot of them, even if they weren't snitches, the things they did, people were like, this is for the betterment of the businesses, for the betterment of the family, the collective, the whatever. And it wasn't so much false pride, which I think a lot of our shit is on. We are so built on the surface shit because we know we don't have anything that is of value. Them niggas was like, fuck all these like little low rent, like what was that shit, a Bronx Tale or whatever, where the nigga grabbed him in the street and he was like, fuck this motherfucker. He got bought for $20. He's out your life. Hood niggas would have gunned that nigga down because you're not gonna play with my motherfucking money in my name for $40, nigga. Now you got sent up. And I think, for us, especially with like say with the TI thing, it's not having the broader perspective. It's like, think about this, bro. Like niggas out here playing Tekashi 6ix9ine, watching American Gangsta, thinking Frank Lucas was the best shit ever to a degree. But it's like you just said, he did this thing. It's embarrassing. But honestly, my nigga, if they called this number, it's not gonna call it on y'all because y'all should be a higher level of criminal or a nigga in the streets that this number's not gonna affect you. Are you gonna be kicking in some old lady's door to steal her radio?
Right.
No, y'all are over here doing business, so it's not even gonna affect you. Nobody got snitched on. Nobody got fucked up. You know his situation. So as opposed to going up for 10 when you could do this little embarrassing thing and get back to it at the time that he was in his life, as opposed to you niggas up here not even understanding the system. You blasting your favorite rapper saying I beat Fed time, but Googwap is out here telling y'all nobody beats Fed time. If a nigga says he's a rat, and y'all so have the perspective to understand how this shit really, really works, or do something else because it's clearly not for you. Because you're not thinking in a space to really use this to your benefit. You just want to kind of, I'm a nigga in the streets. Well, no, because if you're really gonna be that guy, you need to be able to think like him. My
Right.
niggas are not BMF. Them niggas was different.
Right. I have this perception that all rappers are supposed to be Bobby Schmurda or Shine-esque, where when you're faced with jail time, you're just supposed to beat it or do it. I don't have the understanding, like hindsight being 2020. That incident with Ti was damn near what, 10 years ago, roughly. I would just be getting out now.
And
All the shit that I've accomplished in that amount of time, which included me even being in a Marvel movie. I would have not been able to do any of these things. No TV show, no Marvel movie, no albums, no marches, no speaking in front of people, no advocacy for black rights and things of that. I would have missed all of that had I stuck to the perception that you had of me and what you think should be best for me, as opposed to me doing what is best for myself and not hurting anybody in the process.
not allowing our individuals to grow is the hugest fucking problem. Because like, understandably, Ti can maybe still drop like drug bars or some shit he did X amount of years ago. But when you look at the man, like I'm not, and this is not taken away. Like I'm not saying he's not whatever, but I don't look at Ti anymore as like Rubber Band Man. Like I remember that album was great. And I was this little nigga crazy. I remember the gun thing. I remember like I 100% believe Ti. Clifford was 100. Tip was a whole different nigga. Like I understand that life great, but also I don't watch the show for real. But like I see too many photos of this nigga with a baby. He's a full-time father. Got a bunch of fucking houses. When you hear fucking people who I consider to be mogulish in my little mind, like the Killer Mikes and shit like that, who talk about him with such reverence, it's like you have to now start putting this man in another conversation. He's at the tables. Now you can tear that he's not maybe at the top because Hove is like fucking royalty and Diddy is like fucking hip hop mogul royalty. But when Ti goes to sit at the table, He not sitting at the table with little such and such unless he's giving out fucking game. He's sitting at the tables with the mogul niggas. He's it's not the same. He's like I'm trying to buy a fucking this giant house and I got 27 businesses and I fly my kids out to fucking Nepal so I can teach them about whatever the fuck book I was reading. Like I was like, wow, this Taoist shit is amazing. Like T.I. could be that is probably that nigga. Like I learned about Taoist shit while I was reading dictionary stuff. So instead of just saying it, I got my kids in the we just learn like it's not block boy shit. Like those taught him principles of how to stand on, being an honorable nigga, but that doesn't mean he has to be a dope boy anymore. That's not the game. That's the game you did. You had no other options. He's got a billion options. Y'all gotta shut the fuck up.
Right. He's my mindset alone is on a different plan than a lot of y'all. So the decisions that you will make are not the decisions that I would make, which clearly means that you should probably be paying attention to my decisions as opposed to your perception of me, because my decisions got me in a place where you would like to be. I can stand next to Jay-Z just casually. Like you look at him as a pinnacle financially. I got the nigga number in my phone. I can text him and just say, what up? When he has the Rock Nation brunches, I'm on the list automatically if I feel like coming. Why? Because of the perception, not because of the perception, but because of the mindset that I actually have. Maybe you should pay attention to the reality as opposed to the imbalanced perception that you have of me. Shout out to D. She said, that's right. T.I. is definitely a smart man. He's made mistakes, but he's a thinker for sure. You can't get where he's going being a dummy or being a dummy, which is pretty much the premise of what I've just said. Like we look too much at the image of people, and we, like you said earlier, surface level. We approach people surface level based strictly on what we see and what we hear, and we don't realize that although you are promoting a certain type of individual or certain lifestyle through the image that I see from you, I'm not looking at depths to find out what that actually is. There's no balance. I'm paying attention to one thing and one thing only, and that's what I'm ingesting. There's an imbalance in how I receive you.
I mean, I'm gonna make a fucking just selfish ass anime blurred whatever type fucking tie-in. But if you consume, say, a lot of material where the characters and things like that stay the same, the villain's always the villain. No diss to fucking soap operas, but I don't remember the fucking names, but they be the same characters for 40 years. They're always an evil piece of shit. You're always whatever. I'm gonna watch 27 episodes of My Hero, and the whole premise is this motherfucker started out every time you touch something, your fucking arm blows up. Now you can like pick something in that is just a simple idea of progress and be better than the version you were before. If I take this premise and I move that into my artist, if I move that into my daily life, what's that shit? Yami from fucking Black Clover, like surpass your limits. Yes, there is a level of corniness to it, folks. I understand that, but consuming and developing material where it's like the lens has to be better in a variety of ways. These characters go from not only was I like a weak ass crybaby, now I'm better mentally.
Right.
They all do the fucking turn and glare, and I was like, oh, that nigga's a badass now. He didn't stand like that before. If I apply that to my artist, I want to see, and even back to the mixtape era, we were it wasn't fuck a drop, dude. I used to like hearing a nigga drop mixtape 1, and by mixtape 3, I was like, his flow is better. His beat picking is better. Like he had to be really good back then for me to even start listening, because that shit sound like ass compared to like, fucking whatever number 7. Now it's like, a nigga drop a song and he makes the same song 47 times in the next 6 months and just stacks money. It's like, great, you're financially stable, but you're not progressing. Like right. I've watched Crit progress. Like, this is really dope. Currency, this one, that one. So I think we have to kind of adjust that shit in our culture too. Like niggas are not supposed to. You keep your like Hov is still the principles that Marcy taught him. Great, but Big Pimpin' and 4 for 4 are two different niggas.
Totally different situations.
Like I like that. I'm like, yo, you can, and that's supposed to be to you, nigga, to look like, hey, I like the pussy and the boot ass and whatever now, but you know what? I like also having a family.
Right.
And I like being able to not. I'm worth $1 billion and I never wear a chain because I know how money works now. Like I'm in a different different state of mind.
That kind of goes back into the societal mindset that we have, right? Because if you think about the comparison of things as a whole, when we think of, say, music, you think of the industry or things that are popular, just how you were talking about anime, the characters have progression, right? When you look at popular American cartoons, no progression for the characters. Rugrats stayed the same forever. SpongeBob has been the same forever. Even fucking Blues Clues, with the exception of Steve fucking leaving us to go to college, which we should have went with him. But like, no progress. Everything stays exactly the same with music. The popular artists, the baby, no progression. Meg, no progression. Nikki, to a certain point, progressed, stopped progressing. It was the same, like, all we like everything that we romanticize and intake into ourselves and make a part of us to be exactly the same as how we received it. Oh, I like old school 90s R&B. You don't like to progress to anything else. You don't like to look at anything else. Everything just has to be this one set concept for you to be able to ingest it. You don't like change. What are you afraid of?
Which is a trip because that seems to be the biggest critique of the fucking, like, say, the Drake album. Mad, from like Joe Budden to Rory and Mal and other platforms, shit, even us. It's like you can't say sonically it's not doesn't sound good, but it doesn't sound it didn't do anything for me. It's like, oh, okay, Drake sounds like Drake, and sonically, like he does hit these tones, and like great, but it sounds throwaway. It's like well, you're meant to be better. And then some people have conversations where when you're the best and blah blah blah. Oh shit, black man, the fucking goat. Hey man, see, no, bring him back on the camera. That's another conversation about motherfucking progression. That nigga was that. This is Basement Man and just signed a fucking we're fucking moguls out this bitch. That's a living representation. That's a walking representation of what I'm fucking talking about. Motherfucker said, we're here. And if he was sitting there and said, you know what, I'm a radio nigga, and I just like to say basement conversation. This shit doesn't fucking happen. Niggas is not on StreamYards. It's 20 billion shows on this bitch. We talk about titties and philosophy and fucking I don't know what else, nigga, like an assholes, whatever. Like it doesn't make any fucking sense. Like motherfucker, and here's the thing: people are crazy thirsty for it because we just heard Andre 3000, and niggas are having existential crises off this nigga's verse because it's like I forgot what it's. Being motherfuckers like I forgot what it's like for a motherfucker that he's talking to. He's talking to his mom through fucking Kanye's mom. It's like this is an artist. This is what you motherfuckers did this for. This is what we all fell in love with hip hop and the culture and all this other shit for. And I'm not mad at you niggas saying. I did the titty, lick the titty, big bitty, 50, but it's not the same. And y'all got to stop doing just fucking that. And I don't care. I'm gonna die on that hill too. A lot of hills dying, but I gotta get some weapons.
I want to live. I want to live. Shout out to D in the comments. She said, so true. We value tradition. I wish I could like really read. I don't even want to go past that because the fact that we can stop there and say we value tradition and lack of progression, just with that. This is traditional. I want to stick to it. There are some traditional ideals that we can grasp onto and utilize them to progress in different ways as we go through our life. But we like, nah, I want to go backwards. I want to go back to when this was that and go back to being that. You want to regress? In what part of the world do you want to regress? Like some things in tradition were lost for a reason. Some things they didn't lose. They weren't lost. They evolved into something different. Y'all don't even want that, but yes, appreciate D for throwing that little tidbit out there. We afraid of change and progress for whatever reason, but that's a societal thing that's shaping our minds as a whole, which is detrimental.
We don't like tradition because traditionally we was running this bitch. Traditionally, niggas was waking up and said, you know what, I'm gonna figure out some shit that's gonna completely change how the motherfucking world works. Like, you niggas ain't whatever. Traditionally, we was doing shit that white folks so goddamn jealous of. They said, had to be fucking aliens. Fuck you. So, you niggas don't like tradition because motherfucking traditionally niggas were like creating things that didn't exist before. So,
y'all don't like tradition, y'all like condition.
There we go. That's it. Yo.
You don't like tradition, you like condition or to be conditioned. Either way, it's a problem all the way around. No, you don't. You really don't. You won't be doing nothing but going to school. Be quiet. What? I appreciate I appreciate you actually listening.
That's
I
some shit.
appreciate that. I have a speculation. Sidebar. Shorts came in for
Oh, that fucking genius nigga, lying ass. That's nigga's a genius. I'm not. I'm not. Fuck that.
he plays stupid, but he's not. But something like we had somebody that was like super Jesus-y in the comments.
That was
And something in my mind was like, I feel like that Shorts fucking with us just to be funny. I don't know what it was, but in my mind, that's what I ascertained. Like, this is Shorts.
the at the end. That's
And
somebody.
I knew it. I knew it. He just admitted it. It was him. I knew it was something just in my spirit. Something told me it was you. Jesus is watching. I knew it was you. I didn't have any clues, but something in my mind just automatically was like Shorts.
He told on himself at the end. He said, like
Yeah,
the
when you made
spirit bomb. He said like the spirit bomb
you
of
said
God.
the
I was
spirit
like,
bomb shit, you kind of gave it away. Like he knows us, and he's not 100% religious. But in my mind, after the second comment, I was just like Shorts automatically. Something in my mind. Yep. We appreciate it though. It made for wonderful content for anybody that didn't hear it. Go back and listen to the last episode and you can kind of see the back and forth that we had with Shorts' alter ego.
oh yeah, damn, y'all people who like just watching. There's a whole fucking like group chat attached to it. Y'all don't real friends troll each other because I've been. I think we. I think I've been here. We've been here a couple years, and I ain't trolled enough people. I'm now on a mission to pretty much troll everybody in the group. Like as soon as as more I get to know people, I done made Keith memes. Like we're just fuck it. Y'all all gonna catch it because content.
That is the benefit of Just a Dope Ass Podcast and the Good News Radio. This man said he was bored at work and saw the notification that we was on and jumped on and was like, let me listen. See, when you having a terrible day at work, what can make you feel better? Us. God damn it. Download the Good News Radio app. You can participate with us. You can listen. You can be in the chats. We got multiple chats. You can be in the YouTube chat or the radio station chat. It don't matter. We can, of course. We check the chat.
I resonate with that because there's many a time that I'm up in the morning, I'm supposed to be an active employee, and that shit say, top of the morning, and I'm like, I know he's in here blessing people with the word. I'm gonna say some fucking weirdo shit and see if he can, keep it together. And so far, Keith kept it together, but I'm gonna fuck it up one day. Like it's gonna be one day he's gonna be like, they got the fucking what the fuck this nigga say? Damn, messed up. I'm gonna mess up somebody's blessing.
That the beauty of the station, Good News Radio as a whole, a lot of us are gonna find ways to troll one another somehow, some way. You would have just kept moving about your life and never would have brought it up. No. Nah, my brain automatically, and I don't. This one of the gifts that I was blessed with, and I don't know where it comes from, but I try to nurture it. Something automatically said Shorts. I told DJ after the show, I was like, I feel like that was Short. Something tells me that was of all the people I could choose. just throw it up there. I don't expect it to go in. I'm just throwing it just because I don't want to hold it no more. Something told me. I appreciate.
Man, that's the mood because that nigga's firing out content and shit. I like it because it's just you. I like everybody else got to start throwing shit up against the wall, man. You're so creative. No, I'm not. I just be bored. Throw that shit. This nigga posted, man. It went from inspirational quote to some whatever shit, and I'm like, oh yeah, this nigga Shorts in his bag. It's fire. Shorts getting in his bag. He just put his foot in. When that nigga hit the bottom of the bag, it's gonna be some shit.
That shit said choose to win.
That is hilarious, but we appreciate that tidbit. See what happens when you participate in the comments with us, people. You get the opportunity to like actually enjoy being a part of the show, even if you ain't in the studio, whether you're just in the chat. Shout out to not G. Shout out to D. She's in there on a regular basis. She understands.
D is a G. Ooh, save.
That was very Kevin Hart-esque of you, sir.
Man, hey. I know it's not gonna happen, but people will try to make it like between him and Cat Williams getting the verses.
Absolutely not. We're not even going to that.
Y'all gotta knock it off because
it's not even.
To kid. But like Cat, it's like it would be nasty.
It would be a massacre. Shout out to Moni in the other chat for the app. We saw y'all. She said hey earlier. I just sent her a little emoji, but I didn't shout her out. But we love emoji.
She's a fucking poet. It's she's a ghostwriter for SZA or somebody now. Like a lot of heartbreak. It can't be 808s. I don't know what it could be. It could be like double D's and heartbreak.
It could be. We're gonna get to a point where we can like not just talk to people at the station, but talk to other people and ask them questions. Because when you mentioned SZA, I've had a question in my mind that I wanna ask Boogie on the show. Like, did you really drunk text SZA and get mad she ain't reply? Like, I just want to know if it's true. I have to know that it's true. But yes, shout out to D. She said being in the studio is better, of course. See, open door policy. Everybody, not everybody, but everybody's welcome to come as long as you ain't coming here. No, 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 see,
Yeah, everybody want to get in
goddamn shit. Like,
on.
right. As long as you ain't in here like talking madness and tomfoolery, you are more than welcome to come to the studio. But that's extended to everybody near or far. Hell, if you out there in Houston with TJ right now, pull up on him. You can talk to him. If you see him just walking through the streets and you want to just like, hey nigga, you can do that and hop on. We can send you the link and you can be here from afar. If you are in California and LA and you want to come down to the studio, feel free. We
I'm pretty
definitely
friendly. I
yeah.
feel like I don't know if I've ever worked on my fucking like resting I'll murder you face, but it's not real. I'm a nice guy.
Yeah, we ain't murderers. We
Really
get
not.
on up out you. You have any last words for the people as we transition out of here for the week to get them going?
Um, from our usual man. Whenever you watch this, we are fucking appreciative. Tell your mom and them, and see y'all next time.
Shorts, since you here, you got any words for the people as they transition on for their week? Choose to win. D, you in the chat, you active. You got something you want to tell the people for the week? We ain't got all day. You got to type it quick. God damn it, type it and press send, or I'm gonna end this. You got to do it fast. In the meantime, as I sit here and get ready to transition out, I hope you guys have a wonderful week. Find your balance. Find something to balance you out. Stop approaching things so surface based. Dive into the depths of everything. Decondition. Get rid of tradition. D says just be great.
Short and sweet.
Just short and sweet. Just be great, but find out what the fuck your greatness looks like. Don't be your perception of great. Go be your actual understanding of great.
Challenge your fucking beliefs, people.
Challenge them all. Shout out to Mixwell for RNRN. That's what we started the show with. And shout out to D Smoke and Sir with this as we exit. It's called Common Sense. If you don't have some, please go get some goddamn common sense. If you don't know where to start, just listen to this song.
That's a whole other conversation about how we really are whooping ass in music on this coast, and it's just under talked about.
Yeah, we've been better than the East Coast in a lot of ways, but we ain't gonna,
Yeah, I just like I feel like everybody doing their thing in certain areas, but I don't just feel like we ain't got. That's another thing. We ain't got off the gas, and word the fucking console and Bell, fucking everybody else, Bando and Cherry Black, and all you fucking rapping ass niggas. Mo. I don't know, man. All y'all, I'm tired. Too many fucking talented some bitches.
If y'all actually appreciated the West Coast music we supposed to, then Bad Luck wouldn't be talking shit about y'all in memes right now. He'd be making an album. Shout out to Luck. We appreciate you.
He seems like that guy.
Right. Seems like a decent guy. And now on that note, we appreciate you for tuning in to Just a Dope Ass Podcast. Enjoy the rest of your week. We will see y'all on Saturday. Until then, as D said, just be great, you bitch. Bye. Enjoy. See you later. So long. Farewell. Avita. Say goodbye.